Thank you, Paul. So we have here Deborah Sarah Madabla, and she undertook her NSS at First Atlantic Bank.
What's NSS? Oh,
National Service, yes.
Right.
She undertook her national service at First Atlantic Bank. And on my right here, we have the former Chief Financial Officer of First Atlantic Bank. He's no longer the Chief Financial Officer. And in a crazy twist that most people describe as novel, Deborah sued Mr. Ernest Kwesi Nimako. And then the thing is, why is she suing Mr. Ernest Kwesi Nimako? So according to Deborah, and she is saying that when she was working at the bank, she's saying that Mr. Nimako was making sexual advances towards her. And seeing that he was a male, in a superior position, she felt as though her life would become a nightmare if she didn't give in to these sexual advances made by Mr. Nimako. And again, she described in her, her statement of claim that other women who were approached with these kind of sexual advances by other men in the bank, if they didn't give in to these sexual advances, they went on to experience what she describes as a nightmare. So in order for her not to experience that, she decided to give in to Mr. Nimako's sexual demands, and they entered into a parallel relationship. And according to Deborah, one of the enticing considerations that Mr. Nimako proposed to her, which made her agree to enter into this parallel relationship, is that one, she should not, take up contracts with the bank after her NSS was over. And in exchange for that, he promised one, an allowance of 3,000 Ghana cedis each month. He also promised to pay for her accommodation for a period of 3 years. He promised to buy her a vehicle. He promised to pay for her medical bills. He promised to give her a lump sum to start a business and to generally take care of her.
What medical bills means what?
So if she has to go to the hospital, because she said she was on family planning methods. So she needed to go to the hospital, pay for all those kind of things. So she said that Mr. Nimako promised to take care of those medical bills.
Okay, what was Nimako's response to this in the statement of claim?
Now, Nimako was saying that, and his lawyer heavily based the fact that her claims is born out of what he calls an illegal contract. And he's
illegal?
Illegal, yes. Mm-hmm. And in law, when a transaction or a contract, when it goes against public policy, it tends to be something immoral, something illegal. And when you look at the nature of their relationship, being a sexual nature between, a boss, people working in the same environment, and taking advantage of that, this is illegal because this is a married man. And
is it illegal or immoral, or is both?
So once it's born out of immorality, then it becomes an illegal contract, and the court will not allow you to benefit from something that you entered into. That's illegal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when she went to court, that's what Mr. Nimako's lawyer is saying, that the agreement and the nature of what she was demanding for the car, the money, the general taking care of her rent and everything, it was on the basis of sexual services. So she was unable to point or pinpoint to one particular thing that she did outside the provision of the sexual services to Mr. Nimako that should warrant her to get those things that she's claiming.
To your legal mind, would it have been different if, for instance, she was alleging that Mr. Nimako promised to marry her, and towards that promised her to do these things? Would that also have been held by the lawyer as illegal?
Definitely not.
To your legal mind?
Yes, to my legal mind. Mm-hmm. If Mr. Nimako was single, not married, and he promised to marry her, and he gave her these things,
But even if Nimako was in a marriage that was potentially polygamous, will that still be, So not married, yes, we all understand. But assuming that he's in a marriage that is potentially polygamous, like a traditional marriage, will that also legitimize her claims to your legal mind?
Yes, it would. Yes, it would.
So did the court accept what Nimako's lawyers were saying?
Yes, the court accepted it because, again, according to the court, Deborah is trying to benefit from something when she entered into, and this is an illegal contract. Again, it goes against public policy. Their sexual relationship goes against public policy. It goes against societal norms, in our country here. So she's not going to be allowed to benefit when she knows that I entered into an illegal contract, or what some will call an immoral contract, because morality is the basis here for judging that this contract that they had, goes against public policy.
That's interesting. Mm-hmm. Assuming, without, knowing that her claim was different, again, if she said, for instance, that Nimako had employed her as a masseuse, and towards that, he gave her the car. Because I think she went to court based on the fact that Nimako collected the car.
Yes.
Forcibly. How did he collect the car?
So Nimako bought her the car, Honda Civic, for a value of 120,000 Ghana cedis. And so when she was driving this car, she said Nimako placed a monitoring device or a tracking device in this car.
Oh.
Yes. And she claimed that when Nimako traveled outside the country, on days when she was even on the road, Nimako forcibly stopped the vehicle with the use of the tracking device. And she says that that was life-threatening because she was on the road, the car was moving.
But is there something like that?
But, yeah,
you can stop a car remotely?
Yes, you can. When you have that, now that's how people who do the Uber business, they're able to track like where the driver is taking the car to. There are these devices. So if you feel like, okay, I've told the driver not to leave Greater Accra region, and you see him leaving, the device is going to alert you, and you can just stop your car immediately. And
I see.
Yeah, and wherever the car is, you can just go pick it up and tell the person, I told you not to leave
So when you stop the car will stop?
It will stop.
So if you are in Dankwa Circle, the runabout, or you are in...
on the highway, motorway, it will stop.
Asokwa, driving towards Amekom.
It will stop.
It will stop?
It will stop.
Really?
Yes. So
at Takoradi Market Circle, it will stop. It will stop?
It will stop.
Just stop?
Just stop.
Somebody will hit you from the back?
Exactly. So that's what she was claiming, that experience was life-threatening. She could have gotten into an accident.
Did Nimako admit that he had stopped the car?
He admitted it.
Okay.
But she is saying that after he stopped the car, right, I think she crashed into someone a bit. So she said she had to take the car for repairs. And according to her, the repairs cost her 10,000 Ghana cedis. And she's saying that while the car was at the mechanic shop, she's saying that Nimako came to the mechanic shop and showed them title documents to the car. Unknowingly, she said that Nimako had actually registered the car he bought for her in his name. So she was not aware, according to what she's saying, that the car was not registered.
But has she ever seen the documents before? Did that come up in...
She didn't mention whether she had seen the document before, but she said she was surprised when she was informed by the mechanics that a man has come holding documents saying that this car belongs to him, and he wants us to release it, the vehicle to him. And so that's part of the process where they started having some difficulties in their parallel relationship. And so there was a back and forth where the mechanics tried to prevent Mr. Nimako from taking the car back to wherever he was taking it to. And according to her, when she finally took the car from the mechanics to her house, she claims that Mr. Nimako brought one of the security guards at First Atlantic Bank, and then they came to forcefully, take the car from her house, embarrassing her in front of her neighbors, people who she says that they hold her in high estimation. She felt very embarrassed by that act. And so that is the whole. So when she went to court, she's claiming, one, that Nimako should register the car in her name. Secondly, that he should pay her back the 10,000 Ghana cedis that she spent, repairing the car. And she also wanted Mr. Nimako to hold up his end of the bargain. That's by continuing to give her the 3,000 Ghana cedis a month allowance and paying for her rental accommodation.
But the relationship had broken down?
Yes, it had broken down.
So did she want the relationship to restart?
No, she didn't want the relationship to restart. No, that's not what she's asking for.
But she wanted the, as they say, the perquisites of the relationship to
pegs.
Remain.
Yes, she's saying that you promised, she's saying that, okay, I was working at a bank, NSS, and I was about to take up contract right after the NS to work with the bank. Now you tell me that I shouldn't take up the contract to work with the bank, and in exchange, you said you're going to...
What could have been Nimako's reason to say a young lady don't work? What's the reason? What could have been the reason?
I'd like to hear your response for why
I'm wondering, because it is in her interest, and I believe in his interest, for her to be working. As a young woman, she's a national service, so straight from university, she has an opportunity to work at the same bank. She shouldn't... I'm not quite sure what the terms of their relationship was, but I would have thought that's good for everyone. Anyway.
Yes, like I say, I'm not quite sure why he demanded her to stop working at the bank, or even... I think she stopped working altogether because, according to what she's saying, she was relying on the 3,000 cedis a month allowance.
Did the court ask to see the car? It's not clear.
No, but the main contention, what Nimako's lawyer was saying was that they should strike out, her claim because it has no reasonable cause of action. So that's Nimako's lawyer's main claim.
So what did the court say? In agreeing with Nimako's lawyer, what did they say?
The court is saying that for you to have a reasonable cause of action, you should have a justifiable reason for the court to give you certain reliefs. And the reliefs being the many things she was claiming for. And now when the court analyzed their relationship, and again, the relationship is the basis on which she was seeking those things. That I'm in a parallel relationship with this man, and he promised to give me the allowance, the car, the rental, accommodation, the lump sum to start my business. And now we are having some difficulties, and he doesn't want to do that anymore, but he promised to do that for the next 3 years. And so please let this man that I'm in a parallel relationship with do these things for me. And the court is saying no. This relationship that you are in with a man or that you were in with a man, it's immoral. It's a sexual relationship that is frowned upon by our society.
But that's the interesting thing. So the court identifies a wrong, but is unable to prefer punishment for either party. That seems to be what has happened. But, or it's not that kind of wrong that warrants a punishment from the court. The so-called illegitimate, immoral, is not the kind of wrong that warrants a punishment. Is that what it is?
You're saying, okay, so I get what you're saying, but right now the court, she's asking for something from the court. So either the court is going to give it to her or the court is not going to give it to her. Yes, and the court denied her. In fact, she even incurred costs. So she has to pay Mr. Nimako's team a cost, I think, 10,000 Ghana cedis.
Oh, the 10,000 she wanted. They're asking her to pay.
Yes, as cost. It's sad, but she has declared her intention to appeal as well. So she's not giving up, easily. So we're also looking forward to see the outcome of her appeal, how the appeal will happen during that time.
How has social media responded to this?
Social media has been really excited about this case. First of all, they are applauding her bravery for being able to take this man to court, especially looking at the basis of their relationship. And people are actually saying that she has set like a novel, case.
But now that she's lost.
But now that she's lost, she's going to appeal, so it's not the end.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, it's also a wake-up call for other people in working environments or even other places that if you have this sort of parallel relationships, you should be ready to stick to what you say you would do, because if not, now someone can take you to court.
What was Nimako's reason for wanting to change the relationship? Was there a reason? Did anything come up in the statement of claim?
Yes, according to her, she said that Mr. Nimako wanted to have a natural carnal knowledge of her, which she refused. So that was when they started having difficulties. When she refused.
No, it's in the claim?
Yeah, when she refused his...
That Nimako wanted to have a natural carnal knowledge?
Yeah.
Sodomy of sorts?
A natural carnal knowledge.
That's how she put it?
Yes, a natural carnal knowledge, yes.
Oh, wow. And that is what she refused, and she's suspecting that's what created the problem. Yeah. Did Nimako respond to that in the statement of claim? Did she deny it? I'm sure he may have denied it.
Yeah, but the point is that they tried to, she said they went to a restaurant to try and reach an agreement just to leave everything in an amicable way, but things went sour, and then that's when this whole stopping the car in the middle of the road, going to the mechanics, bringing a security man to take the car forcibly happened. So right now we are still waiting to see what happens when Deborah appeals the case.
Has the appeal been filed, do you know?
I'm
because
not
they have
aware of that.
They have a length of time within which to file.
Yeah, but I'm not aware of that. But definitely when the updates do roll in, we'll be back to give our audience an update.
Let's see what our social media people are saying.